Okay, hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another set of interviews with our contributors for our anthology that is currently live on Kickstarter, the third anthology from Canon Wright. And it is called the Universal Flaw Robotics. So it is a robotic theme this time around, as the last time was Gnomes, and then the time before that, a little bit more of a scary creature type of vibe, a cryptid type of vibe. But we're talking about robots, and thankfully we have two live creators with us that are not robots that as long as I'm aware of. You know, let's see. So I don't think I have anything to worry about. So let's go ahead and welcome Kaź and Eddie to the stream today. And I am J.M. Hunter, so I will be asking them a few questions as well as giving you all some news about the Kickstarter that is currently live right now. So that way you know how to get a hold of this anthology. So that way you can check out Kaź and Eddie's work as well as a whole bunch of other creators' work. But right now, if you act early, there's an early perk right now that I have to talk about. It's called the hardcovers perk, which is basically hardcovers have unlocked early. So basically, if you want a hardcover, especially with this cover that I've done, I got lucky enough to do the cover art, and I had a fun time doing it. Definitely was inspired by the theme of robots. But yeah, the hardcover cover perk is unlocked early. So as of noon today, so it's already up and running. And then there's some other early bot specials as well that include the hardcover plus the poster, as well as the toolbox hardcover edition, as well as some other perks and other things in there, poster, t-shirts, bookmark pack, and a sticker pack. So if you like a lot of merch and you want to slap robots everywhere, to fight the AI and all that and rage against the machine, then you're going to want to get in on this early perk. Okay. So that's going to help you out with that. All right. So once again, just remember to go ahead and check out the Kickstarts. But yeah, so BWH says that BWH doesn't cast doubt on the robots, but thinks Kaź might be a cryptid. So cryptids are welcome here, though. So yeah. So and everything like that. So, but let's go ahead and drop a link to that Kickstarter so you can already preview the early bird perk. And while we're doing that, we'll start getting ready to talk to our creative team here. Okay, I'm going to sneeze, so I want to mute real quick.
Fair.
Bless you in advance.
Of course.
Well, that's always what happens.
And just like that, I'm not an automaton, so I can't sneeze on command. So maybe I can ask Chat GPT or whatever. I don't even know how to say it right. That's how often I use it, which is 0. So okay, let's not bring the mood down. All right, Kaź and Eddie. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your claim to fame, or just what brought you to your current creative endeavors, and then we'll get into maybe the story and your aspect of the anthology and how you came to work on the anthology. So for those that don't know, what might be something that they might know your work from, or that you've worked on, if they want to check out some of your work online?
Primarily just the previous Canon Wright anthology, if I'm being completely honest. I've mostly been involved in small projects like that. One of the Fantology books from, is also from some Center for Cartoon Studies. I forgot the full name for a second.
Oh, okay.
Alumni. So that's mostly where, if you've seen my stuff at all, it's probably in proximity to CCS, to do that.
And
then I don't know, maybe some of my stuff online, but I don't have a whole lot of published work as of right now. That's okay. I'm adding more to I'm adding more to the pile every day. So we're working on it.
But you are active online, though, so you are creating artwork online and active in general online.
Well, we'll talk about that later. I've been with the exception of this project, have been in a pretty bad art block for a while.
Okay.
So that's part of why I'm very proud of it, even if it is just 8-page and relatively simple art, because I genuinely hadn't drawn anything for almost a year before finishing it. So that's the honest answer. Unfortunately, I'm not very present online, but hey, I'm here today.
Yeah, and it was good. It was a good way to prove that you still can do it.
And you can an online presence has to start somewhere, I suppose. So
yeah.
But yeah, the honest answer is I'm not super present. I want to try to be more so in the future. So do check out my social media links. I'm going to try to start posting more often again. I can promise things to come.
Yep, and for those of you that want to check out the social links, we have we will post those here shortly in the comment section. But let's stay with that a little bit.
Kaź gets to answer too.
I
don't speak for
true.
Kaź.
Yeah,
So.
In terms of comics, I have I was the writer and did a very small amount of the art in our previous anthology, in What the Gnomes Know. Our story was A Gnome by Any Other Name, also spelled with the GNAME. And then outside of that, I also recently started streaming video games on Picardo, and the videos for them are up on YouTube. There haven't been any robot games yet, but maybe that'll be the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just me playing cute, cozy little games online. And I do have an Instagram, but there's very little of my own art on there. But that also might be changing soon. So,
all right. Well, let's go ahead and post it. I post both of your Instagrams in the comment section, so that way people can.
Elusive artists, and this is an exclusive interview.
Yeah, actually,
it makes it sound more exciting than just we're kind of quiet.
Okay. So I want to talk about the art block because I feel like anthologies, speaking from my own experience, anthologies are a great way to kind of address art block. Since a lot of times the anthologies, unless they're open anthologies or open submissions, generally might have a theme, and then that might give you a set of bumpers or just like a prompt, basically, to be able to go ahead and start coming up with something, and just get the wheels, get some grease in the wheels, and get back on the horse, as they say, for those, or get back in the car or whatever it is your method of transportation.
I'm a horse girl, so
okay, then that'll work. Yeah. So I wouldn't know how to get on a horse. That's why I felt weird saying it.
I do.
Okay, well, cool. Well, hey, you know what? There could be zines about how to get on a horse if you've never ridden one before.
That would require drawing a horse.
Oh, right. That's one of the evils. I just mentioned that to somebody. I mentioned to somebody that, hey, hands, horses, feet, and then there was one more thing I couldn't remember. It's escaping my memory. That are the things you don't want to draw that are hard. Cars, and then there's like one more. There's like a top 5. Spaceships you can get away with. You can just go get a hairdryer and flip it upside down, and then the next you have like some kind of spacecraft. But yeah. So anyways, okay. So yeah. So let's talk about it. You who came up with the original seed for the story of for this Well, let's go back a little bit. I'm a little rusty too when it comes to my hosting and all that. It's been a long time. So when it comes to gifted programs, which is the title of your story for the anthology, let's go back to when the topic is announced. How did you two come to be a part of it?
Mostly just we were already involved in the relatively active in the Discord for the Canterite Productions community. So when they announced we were doing another one, we wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Even if it had been a minute since I'd done anything, I really enjoyed working on What the Gnomes Know. It was a really fun project, a really good group of people to work with.
We found we work really well together.
Yeah, we discovered we work well as collaborators because just because you work together well as life partners doesn't necessarily mean you're going to work together as art partners. That's not always the case.
Yeah.
I know there are some I can think of some celebrities who have said we don't do movies together or whatnot because it doesn't work out. I don't think Rachel Weisz and Daniel Craig have ever been in anything together, and that's probably a choice. But yeah, but it was good to know that we can do that. We can do the creator couple thing and make it work and be pretty happy with it. So
yeah. Reading the story, I don't feel like there's any type of division, or it feels seamless. It feels like it is one voice telling the story. You know what I mean? So it feels very harmonious. Okay. So then continue. So then the topic is there. You've worked together before in prior experience with the anthology, and which one of you was like, hey, we should do this?
I think we both kind of were just we'd known there was going to be another anthology eventually, and we kind of already agreed like, oh, we'll want to get in on that for sure.
Okay, cool.
And we didn't have like a really strong concept right out the gate. There isn't always one. I did most of the writing on this one with Kaź, helping out here and there, going, well, maybe this. So the idea came from a couple places, and I feel like that's a separate question for further down. Further down the line, but
because I want to ask about the art block as far as like if you're the writer and you just were experiencing art block drawing wise for almost a year, what was it like to but you knew you wanted to jump in on this, so it's kind of like for those that are just maybe potentially watching that might be struggling with art block as well,
absolutely.
Like how did you break through that to knowing that you wanted to be a part of this next anthology?
I think part of why I knew I wanted to be part of it was to beat the art block. It was kind of a, like, if I do this, I'll have to do it. Like, I'm someone who struggles with I need a deadline. I need like something imposing, or I'm not very productive. Like
some structure.
I really did well in school settings, and I don't do great out of them, kind of thing. So I need like that kind of structure, I think, and then. It was very much, because it was robots, it would very much be challenging myself to do something outside my normal wheelhouse artistically. I'm usually one of those people who's like, if I'm doing commissions, I'm like, no robots, I don't do them. I'm not great with like straight lines and geometry and like a lot of little lines and stuff that make stuff consistent. But I thought if it's, but often when you're really stuck, like I just was trying to draw any of my usual stuff, which tends to be more like fantasy D&D type stuff. And just nothing was coming out. Like even characters I've been drawing for years, I just like couldn't put pen to paper and get it to happen. And so I thought robots could be a really good opportunity to just do something completely different. Might break the monotony, and get you out of the funk. And it kind of worked. I've been
nice.
Slow to get back to it, but I've been drawing different things again a little bit here and there, and sort of reminding myself how a little. And like I said, I want to try to keep it light, but mental health is a big part of it, and like
totally advocate about it. So
also just feeling that I did it, like that I got the comic done and I submitted it, and I'm more or less happy with what I've made. It's huge. So I think like advice, in terms of advice, I would definitely say like just try something totally different. If you're really stuck, stop trying to do the same stuff you've been doing for years, because that might be part of the problem. And you can go back to it. I've since gone back to like I've drawn D&D stuff. But you definitely have to try new things. Like even the D&D stuff I've been doing, I've been doing making like a dinosaur setting, and like again, not like my usual drawing stuff. Just to, again, then that difference is so refreshing, and like to do something that's just not what I normally draw, and use like the style even used in gifted programs is like it's not my style, but it's very simplified, I would say.
It's a little looser for the actual characters too.
I see Ben in the chat saying that he broke out of a nasty artist block by making Critical Role fan art. I also I have to like affirmative as we do at CCS that because not so much in this case, more with my writing. I've like busted out of a writing block with some fan fiction a while back that was really bad. So
okay, so essentially you're already uncomfortable in general because the art block is stressing you out and bugging you out. So maybe go ahead and go outside your comfort zone anyways and try something that maybe was a former stumbling block and see if you conquer that. Then so I call that a small victory, and I feel like anthologies, amongst their many qualities, is a chance for somebody to try something new. And challenge yourself, or just test it out. And then you've got strength in numbers. You're surrounded by other creatives, you know what I mean? So it's like, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit,
Very much being able just if I needed it, being able to like contact my editor or anybody else in the anthology and go, is this working? Am I doing this right? Is any of this landing? And it can be hard very much to have confidence in yourself when you've been in a block like that. And I think like the Canon Wright Productions space is just a very positive one that's very reassuring and like gives you space to not be confident, but also build you back up. But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
sometimes you need to feel a little doubt and to like get through that, and you get the space to do it. But yeah, and I think like just on the advice thing, I think also the other nice thing about going out of your comfort zone and doing something you think you're bad at is if it doesn't work out, well, I was already bad at that, so it's fine. It's net loss, nothing lost, nothing gained. You know, it's okay. Tried that, didn't work. You don't have to beat yourself up for it if it doesn't work. You know,
and Kaź, you want to
when it does work, you can be pleasantly surprised. So it's Kaź, low stakes, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Is okay. Reduces some of that like pressure on yourself.
All right. Well, Kaź, I want you to weigh in here too.
Actually, especially with the with having the anthology group is like just a bunch of people that I can bounce like design ideas off of, because I actually ended up designing or doing the final designs at least for most of the robots. Like we worked together on like, okay, what sort of things are the robots going to look like what are their jobs going to be, but then actually designing the final ones was pretty much my role. And I'm also at the same time teaching myself how to use Fire Alpaca, which is a free digital drawing software. I highly recommend it. It's a little clunky, but it's completely free, and it doesn't have like the whole suite of all these amazing tools. But I don't need that for what I'm doing. But it was really useful for like, okay, I have this like limited set of tools anyway, so I can't get lost in all the options, and I have this great community of people to like bounce the ideas off of. Like, does this read right? Does this actually look like a satellite?
So with the Fire Alpaca, I've heard of that. So it being like more of a simplified, stripped down app, as opposed to maybe Krita, which is also open source and free, right? But it's very robust and and kind of ambitious. Because like Clip Studio, I have it, but it intimidates me. There's so many tools, and I just throw my hands up and go back to Procreate. So it's kind of interesting. You both were coming from different types of challenges, and utilizing this experience, and creating, crafting this story to kind of like, use a set of boundaries and guidelines to kind of, navigate your way through the story and came out with a decent story. Okay, cool. So then, okay, so you finish the story, you get through it, and what was it like when you finally wrapped that story up and finished it up? How did it feel? I'll start with you, Kaź, and then we can move on to Eddie.
A very big relief, especially because at the time I was in a not great job situation where I often felt like I was not making progress of any kind. So just having this was a very good, like, I did a thing that's completely separate from everything else that's frustrating me. This is great. I love this.
Again, another small victory, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, cool. And mission accomplished, I guess, with the app, with the Fire Alpaca.
I'm very confident in that. It has more useful tools than it might initially appear, and that's partly because there aren't any great like in-app tutorials. But YouTube is wonderful. There's plenty of people out there who can show you things, and I also had like a lot of time where it was just like, I'm not even going to try to do stuff that's for the comic. I'm just going to see what all of these things do, and maybe write down a little cheat sheet on the side of what all the little buttons and icons are.
Nice. And how about you, Eddie? When this finally wrapped, when you finally got to the finish line, what was that? How did that feel?
Kind of just relief and pride, just like just very pleased with myself that I'd actually finished the thing and proud of what I made. I don't have much more nuance.
No, that's fine.
Very simple, pure emotions of relief and pride, I would say.
Well, let's get into the story then itself. Gifted Programs is the title of it. We're not going to we don't want to spoil on anything as far as visually, because we want you to check out the Kickstarter, check out the book, so that way you can check out all the gifts that are inside that book, okay, as well as those early perks I mentioned in the Kickstarter. So then let's just talk about the approach to the story. I read the story, really nice, very sincere, I think, authentic, and it says a lot in my opinion. You know, even while visually being endearing, and I love the limited palette as well. But let's just talk about the origin of the story and how'd you come up with it?
Gosh, I'm trying to remember like exactly what
Um,
or the essence. We don't have to get into like
it looked like
it's kind of the idea of like, you know, like I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. You know, when you have like the gifted kids in school who are putting all the extra.
Respectfully, I wrote.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You wrote it. Why am I talking?
It kind of has multiple themes. I kind of like started with one and sort of stumbled into two, and I don't know if it like totally lands, like if it's a little overstuffed, but the original concept was I kind of wanted to do something with like the idea of gifted kid burnout. I think that was a lot of what I was feeling with my art block.
Okay.
I was kind of processing some of those emotions through the story of, and if you're not familiar with the term, it refers to like people who, like as I referenced earlier in the interview, do really well in an academic setting and are very much like praised as going to go far, and then when removed from that very structured academic setting, kind of fizzle a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's not to like be too, I don't want to be overly self-deprecating. Again, this is a promotional interview. But you know, it's I certainly was feeling like that, whether that was the reality or not at this time, and wanted to kind of place an emphasis on like that it's okay to have potential in the view of like capitalism and society that demands you be productive, and say, okay, but I don't want to use that potential to work and change the world and be amazing. I just want to live and like try to help out where I can. And I just kind of wanted to, like, the world can be very stressful and it can be very easy to feel like you're not helping enough. Like you're not doing enough, whether that's like, you know, I should be further in life according to whatever timeline that is, or like I should be fixing the things that are terrible in the world. And like, you should try to help, but you know, it's okay if you're not a superhero. So that's kind of the main theme of the story, I would say.
Okay. Okay. From a user reader experience, overall, I feel like it's very much authentic. You know, there's an authenticity to that, and while we're getting a little bit deep and not getting to like hype promo, I think the authenticity of this story and the view of the creators would also maybe lend itself its own promotion of why you should pick up this book too, and why you should read these stories, because you know, like, people want to connect with stories, people want to connect with you know, creators, and I think this definitely does that. From a reader's point of view, I felt like just the pace, not the pace, but the overall message or whatever. What I took from it was that hey, while I have the potential to do all this other stuff, that ambitious stuff that you want, that you say I can do, I'm still being of service by doing this, what's seemingly not up to like someone else's potential tier. You know, this is helping. This is helping the right people. It's being of service to the right people, to people that might be struggling on a regular you and me level. You know what I mean? Or that other able-bodied people and groups may have advantages or may have regular opportunities that other people don't, and this is filling that need. You know what I mean? So I've also one of the things I wondered when I was reading it was like, okay, is this a statement on AI and automation, about ethical automation, like what automation, like when used, you know, maybe ethically or implied, you know, is meant to do or should be maybe doing, as opposed to, you know, ripping off ours and taking away from other people and taking jobs and doing the stuff that you know what I mean, like I was wondering if any of that weight came in, or is that just my own
I think that's a very correct thing. That was also one of the things I wanted to touch on, and not like super intensely, but like this is where I can talk about one of the weird points of inspiration for this story, is like a very weird obtuse thing, but I should probably give credit where it's due, which is and like some people in the comments might go, holy shit, really, when they read this. But one of my big inspirations was there's a video from Polygon, the Unraveled series, where Brian David Gilbert unravels video game lore and like goes too deep. It's like it's played for comedy, but it can often be quite insightful. And there's one that is about Mega Man, which I've never played a single Mega Man game in my life. But the question is, which Mega Man robots are justified in being robots? Because the whole idea is that, like, the Mega Man robots are originally conceived not to be, villainous robots that you fight, but like to do jobs, to do helpful things.
Yeah.
And so his criteria is like, is this something that a person could do? Is this something that a person should do? Is this something that genuinely it would be good to have automated? Like, would replacing this thing with a machine actually be a good thing? And there are several where he lands on, yeah, actually a robot that could do this would be awesome. Like I use similar ideas to a few of them in the comic of like a deep sea diver that can withstand pressures or stuff, or like a space rescue robot, conditions that like we do have technology to get humans to. But if we could send an autonomous machine that's just immune to the inherent dangers of, say, the vacuum of space to rescue astronauts or do, mundane maintenance like this, when it's highly dangerous work that is just like, even with tons of regulations, is still just hugely risky, that's somewhere where I believe that automation can be good and can be helpful. I think it has merit there. And I think like, I'm a safety enthusiast, I joke, but it's something I take seriously. Is like, I was taught when I was young to value workplace safety, and like I think it matters to like find these things where, So I think it absolutely is about that to some degree. But yeah, that is one of the odd points of inspiration. I was thinking of that video when I was writing it, and like, which ones did he point out were like, this does need like sub-zero temperatures is another one that doesn't come up in the comic, but that is mentioned in the video of like, if you need to go do something important in like genuinely deadly freezing environments, send a robot, not a person. Like, so I think that absolutely is a theme that was one of the other like things that kind of came up while I was writing it. Like, while I'm using this to talk about one thing, let's bring this up too.
Yeah. I mean, I played Mega Man, and even I can remember even being young enough to remember, what's the purpose of these robots? Will they actually be a function? So now that I know there's lore out there, I can actually go and get those questions answered now. So I'll definitely look that up. But and you know what? And I can also vouch for the story not being overly preachy or hitting you over the head with a message. It's not. It doesn't come across like that at all. Not that there's anything wrong with like having a message and ramming it through, like that's kind of my style. But no, I feel like it's very, very like it's cozy. You know what I mean? It's cozy in a good way.
Our brand.
Yeah, which is great because I find myself I was telling a friend earlier that most of the YouTube stuff I watch is cozy artists and more like kawaii stuff or just things that make me feel happy. Even though I draw ugly, scary stuff. It's like that's what I watch, and that's where I just like, I feel better. So it brings me joy. Yeah, like, exactly.
It can't be all serious all the time, and it also can't be like soft and happy all the time.
Yeah, like, I need a frown cleanser every now and then. So, but okay. Well, I mean, like again, not only that, but it's just like I think it adequately talks about the beauty of innovation. You know what I mean? And that's what I think about when I think about robotics or I think about automation. I was thinking about, if there was automation or things that were here to make regular life easier instead of having some labor force be exploited, then people would be free to create artwork, to do philosophy, to create things, and then to innovate. They would have the freedom to innovate, and the human condition could maybe find its purpose and do its purpose, as opposed to being exploited by a few, rich, individuals and groups that, that can't take the money with them when they expire, but I guess they think they're going to go colonize Mars in time. So, I mean, I don't know how that works, but yeah. So, I really did enjoy like, those touches that you brought to it and all that. And then the art style, it has that cozy, it also has a limited palette. Whose decision was it to go with the limited palette with just the green and purple?
I think that was actually yours, but because we had the idea of like we wanted to do like the 2 stages like inside and outside the computer. So with the like inside the computer, like okay, what if we went like old school for the
Yeah, we wanted to get like one of those old, slightly ugly green monitors, or like even just like I think the palette we wound up using was like the original Game Boy, like 4-color green.
Yeah, it was, or as close as I could get.
Or close to it. I think we might have tweaked it slightly so it looked good on screen because
as a Gen Xer who's played Oregon Trail and had the original Game Boy, I really was enjoying.
The original Oregon Trail is like exactly what we're going for.
You took me back, and I appreciated it. I was like, okay, I like this a lot. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, so it was definitely, I definitely felt it, you know what I mean? So Ben echoes what we were talking about. The challenge with automation historically has been that instead of decreasing workload, it often results in increased production expectations. Yes.
Yeah.
So so I'm going over to the Kickstarter real quick here just to see if there's any snapshots of any of your pages. Just am I in the rewards? I'm probably in the wrong section here. So let's go back over to the beginning part. Campaign. Okay, let me see if there's any examples. So that way, if we do have an example, we can literally show that for the YouTube. Let's see. There's only so much. Oh wait, we do have a sample. All right. Okay, so
yeah. For us if we need it.
So I'm going to go ahead and present real quick, share screen. We're going to take a look at it real quick. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, so what we have right here is, this is the limited PAL that we were talking about. Right here in the central part. So Gifted Programs is the title. If do one of you want to read the description of the story, or do you want me to do it? Like Kaź, you haven't said as much. Let's give you the radio voice. Put on your best radio voice, hype voice, or booming projector voice, or whatever if you want to.
But yes, Gifted Programs by Eddie J. O'Neill and Kaź G.M. Lukacs, a group of artificial intelligence programs who up until now have existed only in cyberspace, get to choose the forms they wish to take in the real world. And all of the text on there is way too small for me to read.
That's perfect. You got it.
It's mostly just the characters introducing themselves.
Yeah. Oh, as far as the text and the dialogue, yeah. No, there's definitely a stylistic approach to this. As you said, the inside the cyberspace, which is like the Game Boy green, and then outside with the purple characters and all that talking. And I love the back and forth. You know what I mean? I love the back and forth and the response. I'm a world builder, so I always ask questions like this. And if it's not meant to be, I won't take it personally. But is there any chance of you all returning to this particular world, or is it more of a one and done as far as this particular tale goes?
I hadn't thought about going back to it. I mean, I might recycle some of the designs for it on there, because there's a few in there that I'm really happy with how the deep sea robot squid turned out. That was really fun. I spent a lot of time getting that one exactly right. There's not so much the actual space robot I'm proud of, but the satellite took me so long to get just right.
Gotcha.
And I might have to reuse those designs somewhere else.
Okay. How about you, Eddie?
I hadn't really thought of it. It's a great question. I like that. I like the idea. I do have like one other. I had like another idea a while ago for a robot story, but it was like entirely too adult for this particular anthology.
Yeah.
It was still like a robot labor related, weirdly, but I was specifically interested. I can say the concept, and that's fine, I believe, but you two might not like it, so I'll have to say eggs. It was about robot eggs work.
Oh, gotcha.
As the kids like to say, as eggs.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I think it would be appropriate it could be functional in the same universe. I don't know. I hadn't thought of it. Because I do have other ideas. I like ideas about robots and their autonomy and them being people and stuff. So it certainly would still fit, I think. So I don't know. Maybe it's a fun idea.
I look at these images and the style, the aesthetic approach, and just the delivery and the back and forth. And I'm like, you all could run with this if you wanted to make any type of social commentary, meme. If you want to jump into meme commentary about certain things, you know what I mean, or certain subjects, and then it could be funny just having the two human scientists, doctor professionals, and then the robots, and then just have their hot takes on things, you know what I mean. And so I feel like you have a strip here if you want it, you know what I mean. So
definitely something. Thank you, I appreciate that.
And then Kaź, to save you the stress, you can just repurpose some of these and make your set of aesthetics and systems and your frames, and then reuse the characters, and then so but anyways, you got something here. I like it. I love it. And it was so endearing. You totally could do like just the innovation. We were talking about innovation and just like a cozy innovation sphere. If people have not tackled that yet, that could be your niche. So anyways, and then Eddie's probably cursing me now. It's like I don't want to draw robots the rest of my life. So.
No, I mean there's definitely that I can continue to work with it. I used to do sprite comics like way back in the day.
Right, that's kind of where I'm getting at is
with Sonic sprites and stuff, and the principle can apply here definitely. Like the same basic mechanics.
Yeah, actually, speaking of sprite comics, that was actually kind of the inspiration for the little avatars that they have. I was really trying to go with like Windows XP era computer icons. Like, how do I make this? Like, how do I make this thing like show a little bit of the personality or a little bit of what they might turn into, but not just be the thing? Like we have our navigation program is just an old school compass rose, and I was like no, we do like we don't do like a GPS system. We don't do anything like that because they're supposed to be upgrading from what they start as into their final thing. So we have to go with the older version.
Nice. Well, while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and scroll through the Kickstarter real quick, just while we're here, so I can re-mention the early bird perk that we have, that we just unlocked. So where is that? I think that's in rewards, right?
I think so.
Yeah, or no, that's probably in updates. Is it updates? Yeah, sorry. Oh, yep, there we go. So as I was talking about, hardcover's unlocked early. So here are the details about when it comes to the hardcover. So people have been generous with their pledges. Thank you so much for your pledges. If you've already pledged, that we reviewed our numbers and determined that we can make hardcovers available earlier. As of now, it's already available. We will also be adjusting the stretch goals. So the stretch goals that we can continue to unlock, so that $15,000 gets behind the scenes reward will now be unlocked at the $12,000 tier. So hardcovers unlocked. If you want the other stuff to keep going and come earlier, then that's what's required. Upgrade was that chassis? I can't even say the word right. You can tell how much I spend in robotic lingo. I did take Metal Shop. $60 plus 5. That gives you the hardcover copy of the Universal Flaw Robotics. The early bot special, this is what I was talking about earlier, was that the hardcover and poster is $65 plus 10 for shipping. That gets you the hardcover edition of the Universal Flaw Robotics and a copy of the poster done by yours truly, as well as that being a discounted price. So those prices will go up if you wait too long. The Toolbox hardcover edition, $115 plus 10 shipping, like the regular Toolbox, but with the hardcover edition instead of the regular softcover trade. Backers receive the hardcover edition, the poster, a T-shirt with the poster image, a bookmark pack, and a sticker pack. Again, for all your merchandising, fighting AI, slap a sticker on, weird object needs. Okay, mass production. This is going to cover the 5 hardcover editions of Universal Flaws of Robotics at the $250. That gives you free shipping. Okay, so it's in addition to a volume discount of $10 off of that of each individual copy. They won't charge shipping for that, so you're getting a lot of savings if you're wanting to get 5 hardcover editions, because whether you want one for yourself and you want to gift it to other people, or whether or not you're a reseller, you want one for yourself and then you want some in your shop or things of that nature, that helps out. Or if you're just one of those people that likes to play on eBay a lot, there you go. Okay, so yes, that's that. So with that being said, I will stop my screen sharing, and we'll get back to yeah. So as Ben mentioned earlier, Ben mentioned you could do your own story collection following the lives of each of the programs. Yeah. So yeah, or or if you ever wanted to do like a famous movements or famous moments in history of nautical stuff or whatever, what I mean. So so if you ever wanted to go retro. But yeah, anyways, yeah, we're just giving you all a bunch of world building stuff. So anyways,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So moving forward, now that you've conquered the art block, you've conquered this excellent story, what is next for you? What would you like to do, and what are you actually doing? Kaź, you want to start us out?
I mean, for right now, I'm doing the various game streaming, which is also kind of one of those, like, I've wanted to do this for a while just to like show people, like, here's this cool little thing that I found that maybe doesn't have as many people know about it as I think it should, and it's like, no, it's just spreading a little love for like lesser known games.
Ooh,
but
I like
then
that.
also I have been planning to do some streams on there that are instead me doing art. Because actually the streaming service I use, Picardo, is, as the name implies, actually more of an art streaming service. I just happen to use it for video games because it's quieter than a lot of other options.
Gotcha.
I still upload the final results on YouTube just so that there's an archive of it somewhere. But I do have some plans to do some art things for it. Actually, just art of one of the games that I was recently playing that I still need to do. I have it. I need to scan it in and then start tracing things, because I tend to draw things out on paper first, scan them in, and then I do all the tracing and the coloring and the inking, and making sure that the lines are actually straight or actually the exact right curve on a program that can let you do that.
Yeah, like you basically work with the hybrid method. That's kind of how I work too. Yeah. So, okay. And how about you? And we put the links to Kaź's gaming live streaming, as well as the YouTube record. You see what's been happening on there. And Eddie, what are you working on currently, if anything? Even if that means just a personal project or just a personal reset, whatever. And then what would you like to be turning your attention to afterwards?
Yeah, I'm kind of just right now. I'm kind of doing stuff for me mostly. Gotta focus on like day job stuff. And like
need that self care.
I've been learning to do closed captioning, which is fun.
Ooh, cool. Yeah.
Which I'll happily caption myself in this video because I know what I talk like. I do know what I'm like. I just can't stop it. I talk very fast.
Yeah. And there's a need for that out there anyways.
The subtitles on Kaź's VODs are done by me. I'm
good.
writing a D&D module.
Yeah.
Not like really intended for publication, just for like reuse with my friends. But as I mentioned before, I got a book, like I should name it. I shouldn't just uncredit. Dr. Drolin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs by some fellas. They've all got doctor in front of their name. It's around here somewhere. I'm looking for it. But that's the name of it, Dr. Drolin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs, which is a like accurate paleontology game supplement. And I've just kind of been building a little world with that, and I've designed like mini campaign. With it.
You mentioned D&D, gaming, and dinosaurs, and then look who pops up, Kelsey.
Timing. I can
the signal went out.
I'm making the specific concept is like a Mad Max-esque like bike race through a canyon with like migrating brontosaurs or what have you as like the central event of this one shot / mini campaign I'm doing.
Wow.
And I kind of just got very into like building my own world for it. I unfortunately I don't know much about Dragon Ball. Jam, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so basically, if you mentioned Dragon Ball, you could have wait. I didn't know Kelsey was a Dragon Ball enthusiast. That's because I love, but look, Kelsey's already a fan, so they totally want to check out this game. So that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's something I'm doing for me, and I'm getting back to writing more than drawing right now. Just prioritizing different things, but But yeah, I've worked on a few small writing projects. Nothing that's an upcoming publication. Just like, again, some fan fiction that I refuse to link because I'm embarrassed, and some like a fantasy world I was working on a while back that just kind of I stopped poking at. I dug up some old notes and have been trying to freshen it up again. Nice.
Okay.
Make a story
so
out of it.
Let me ask you this question. That way we get ahead of the next art block. Not that there's going to be one, but whether it be 2 years down the line.
They happen.
Yeah, they happen, right? That's just kind of like your creativity telling you that stop, recharge, take care of yourself a little bit, pivot, and then come back. What is one thing that you've been avoiding art-wise? First was robots. So is it horses, or is it something else that you're like, I don't want to draw that, or that's not my thing, that you might have to call upon to unleash?
That's a great question. It's more in my case more like medium than like subject. I've been trying to just not do digital art for a bit. I just I think I'm too locked in with Clip Studio, and I think I got very reliant on the models for a bit, which never do that. But the perspective rulers, I got too cheaty, and I don't want to sound like you're cheating if you use those tools. I think just I personally became over reliant on them and lost kind of the freehand spark that gives my art its distinct style. And I drew everything on Universal Flaws. I used some rulers to make sure the screens looked right, but otherwise it was all very much freehand.
Gotcha. Okay.
So just in order to kind of keep at that, I think that's part of, again, the blocks happen for a lot of reasons. It's usually not one magic solution that will defeat the block. It's usually a combination of factors. But yeah, I've been trying to I have all these markers sitting on my desk that were neglected. I've been trying to do traditional art again. So
yeah, so going more analog, which is ironic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. And Kaź, different question for you. If there's one indie game or not recognized enough game that you would like people to go and check out, other than on your live stream, obviously, because that's your
I haven't done yet.
That's your was Nard just say Nindo or whatever, right? What is an unspoken or non-recognized enough game that people should check out, even if it's one that you've already covered?
Well, it doesn't fit the robot theme, but if we're
it doesn't have to.
Library.
We are a diverse set of creators here. We like other things besides robots.
To me, it feels wrong to call this retro because I believe it came out in 2006 or 2008.
Hey, my kids are older than that, so we can call it retro.
Okay. But it's a fantasy series called Overlord. I love this game. Almost nobody knows what I'm talking about when I say it. Some people think, "Oh, you mean that anime?" No, this came first.
Is it like a Metroidvania side scroller?
It is Evil Pikmin.
Oh, okay. All right. Evil Pikmin.
After the heroes have ransacked the tower full of treasure and magical objects from your predecessor, but all of your little minions, which are these horrid little goblin-y creatures, wake you up, bring you out into the world, and well, we need to get our stuff back. Evil must take over the land again. And you find other villainous characters well, those can't be here. I'm the overlord. I have to be the one ruling this.
It's written by Terry Pratchett's daughter, and it shows.
Yep.
Whoa,
very affectionately so.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very much a satire about fantasy tropes and kind of the nature of good and evil in those sorts of worlds.
It feels spiritually adjacent to the Fable games, if you remember Fable.
Yeah, I have those.
Similar vibes. Yeah, similar vibes.
Okay,
not exactly. Even more chaotic, I would say.
Yeah,
it sounds like
you are, after all, the evil overlord with an
army
of horrid little goblin things that go forth and burn, raid, pillage, and then put fun things on their heads as hats.
So is this on console or PC or both?
It is. I know all of them are available on PC through Steam, and
Okay.
I'm not sure about any other
Well,
options.
hey, enough said.
The original versions of things were on a combination of like PC, I think the PlayStation 3. If you have one, you can get it to work.
I got one. It's working.
And there was also 2 of the games where one of them is on the Nintendo DS, which I have, and it runs. It runs. That's about all I can say. And there was also one for the Wii, which actually works better than you'd expect because the motion controls actually work really well with like commanding your minions to no go over there, no go over there, no go over there, and you can actually point.
So the anti Skyward Sword. Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So that sounds like a sleeper and a game worth checking out. So that sounds awesome. And I love the idea of utilizing fantasy tropes and things of that nature. I'm a big trope person, so I find a great deal of novelty with them. Okay, so then creatively, what's something that you on the bucket list for you, Kaź?
That's a good question. I actually have a cosplay that I tried it out this last weekend and I want to improve it. But
in the spirit of Comic-Con or anti-Comic-Con, because it is Comic-Con.
I think the actual San Diego Comic-Con would be way too big for me. So I tend to do smaller ones. But this is one where it's not really a small game. But Another Crab's Treasure. You play as a little hermit crab who's always swapping out his shell. And I want to make a slightly better version of that. So I might actually get like the pincers together and figure out how to do like one of the like shells made out of trash that he uses in the game.
As like a cosplay.
As a cosplay. So this is all just figuring that out.
Maybe we should talk to Ben, who has the Cost Pain comic, and then you guys can do like this epic crossover or something,
That could work.
So, or a how-to in the back of it, a la Kaź, how to dress like a hermit crab and diversify your home shell. So just me throwing ideas out there, crossing the streams as I'm wont to do. Okay, well, in general, creatively, is there anything that you feel? Hold on. I said the Ben signal. I knew it.
Aha.
We just did a convention this past weekend and did cosplay.
What convention did you do?
We did Kineticon 2024 in Hartford, CT.
Okay.
And I must say, a lot of like Kineticon itself was great. A lot of like things in proximity to the convention went wrong, and I got to commend the Kineticon staff for doing a great job, like improvising and dealing with it. It was a weird weekend. A lot of like incomprehensible small inconveniences, and the staff were just really great about rolling with the punches. And so just shout out while we're on a public forum, Kineticon 2024 staff. Y'all were trying your best. Y'all were trying really hard.
And all of the issues were like things that it was never any one person's fault. So it was just like, well, there's no one to
like miscommunications with local public transport. Somebody accidentally somehow the sprinklers didn't get turned off for the Has-Been Hotel photo shoot. Where most people are wearing body paint.
Wow.
Ben, but the staff got the new location right away. And there was really good improvisation.
I think you just gave Ben another idea, more plot. If that's not cost paint, I don't know what is.
That's one for you, Ben. You can steal that story. That happened.
Well, you know what? Shout out to the convention, because a convention having to pivot is not an easy thing, and it sounds like they did their best, and they did what they could. So it's definitely admirable.
I just wanted to give them that little shout out. Ben's writing it down now. They were on an automatic timer, and even though there was rain coming in, somebody forgot to turn them off, and just whoopsie. It was like definitely like some weird like cosmic curse, like completely unrelated to the hotel. Like our to the convention, our hotel elevators broke. But again, the hotel staff were like, okay, let's open the freight elevator, let's get people out of here, wheelchairs first. Like they took care of shit. So sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but they took care of it.
I remember the fire alarm going off, and everyone was deep in sleep at a convention in the hotel.
Oh no!
And then everyone was out in their jammies or whatever, and turns out that one of the people in the hotel room decided to go ahead and light up too close to the smoke detector. And we all had to be, it was a 2-day show, so we all had to be there the next day. So yeah, that was interesting. So, but yeah, shenanigans happen at conventions. So I'm going to drop the link one more time to the Kickstarter in the comment section.
Yeah.
Just for those of you, if you just are now joining us, again, early perk has been unlocked with the what do you call it? With the hardcovers and some of the add-ons with the hardcovers. And before we go, we're about to wrap up here, but Kaź and Eddie, I shared your Instagrams already, and I shared your YouTube as well as where you can live stream. Is there anything else that you want people to know, or is there anything else that if they're on the lookout and start to follow you, they can expect? Like,
actually, I did think of one thing. There was
sure.
on one of the like kickoff streams that we had. One of the questions was, what is a favorite robot media? And I didn't actually have an answer. But I did think of one in the interviewing time, which is called, the series is called The Alchemy Wars. I forget the name of the first book, but it's very much a like spring and clockwork, and like all the robots are made out of brass. But they are, it's
steampunk.
It's actually closer to clock punk because
that's a thing. Okay.
No.
Okay, I learned something.
Yeah. You see a little bit of it in the game series Dishonored, but that's by no means an indie game. But cool. In this case, they're like the like springs that wind them is.
Ollie's got you in the chat.
Thank you. Yes, The Mechanical by Ian Tregillis. That would be book 1. But like the sort of like springs that power them is maybe secretly because they're tortured souls that are stuck in mechanical bodies, and there's a whole plot line around that and sort of freeing them from giving them free will. What happens when you do that? What happens to the society that was built on having this whole subjugated automaton task force? There's a lot going on in there, but
that sounds pretty relevant.
Yeah, it's a fascinating series. There is even the idea of like, okay, we have like these like butler robots, and some of them are like maybe hooked up to be like a horse and buggy sort of thing. And there's even talk in one of the books about building a ship. So what would happen if this massive ship suddenly becomes sentient and has free will? Like it really gets into a lot of that, especially in the later books. But it also you have one of the main characters is the titular mechanical, so you get to see life through that machine's eyes as it has its programming and it has its orders, but it still has its like inner consciousness and desires. It just can't act on any of them.
Nice. My kids just got done watching The Nine, and then that's what brings to my memories the 9 with and then if
the little like sackcloth.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's
it's great, isn't it? And then Chelsea beat me to it. In the vein of Sentient Ship Stories, The Ship Who Sang by Anne McCaffrey, which I haven't read. I'm the Dragon Riders of Pern freak for Anne McCaffrey. I have those books, but yeah, as you start talking about sentient ship, I was going into SDF-1 Robotech protoculture, ship transforming and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So Kelsey went into the Anne McCaffrey, and Ben also got in here with I Have No Mouth, I Must Scream. And then Kelsey, look at that. In a closed.
I think I mentioned this in the previous interview, but the Ancillary Justice series by Anne Leckie also gets into some of the like sentient ship stuff and like.
Okay. And Eddie, any other last minute robot multimedia things that you think people should check out if they haven't already?
Like as another stories or like self promotion?
Yeah. Just like movies, games, books, literature, comics, or D&D campaigns or something that, I mean, whatever.
I think I mentioned most of them in the previous thing that I could think of at the time. But yeah, I love me a robot learning how to be people. I love Mr. Data from Star Trek. I've only watched a little bit of it, but they've all been Data episodes. I love
the bright side of humanness.
I love helpful robots. I love I love Murderbot. The Murderbot books because Murderbot's name is deliberately ironic. It does not want to murder. It could murder everybody at any time very easily, but it really just wants to watch TV.
See, that's the nugget I was looking for. That's why I asked you the question. You've all given us plenty of nuggets tonight, but that's what I was looking for.
I don't want to care about these stupid humans who keep putting themselves in danger. I guess I'll go save these stupid humans, even though I really just want to read comic books, and that's very Massachusetts of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that reminds me of somebody, like the reluctant robot, but it reminds me of somebody. Yeah. I'm not sure which character it is, but you said Massachusetts.
I think that's a great one. Yeah, I think it's important to be aware of the risks of AI, and I think a lot of the stories in this anthology deal with that. But I think it's important, and to loop it all back to the anthology, I think it's important to have, positive stories about, I think true artificial intelligence, an actual mind that is capable of independent thought has a lot of potential danger, but also a lot of potential good and a lot of potential cool things. And I think it's, I think it's important to keep an optimistic story in there here and there. I'm not, uncautious of the dangers of AI, but I think as we talked about earlier, I think it's good to have these stories about nice robots sometimes too, robots that want to help. The title of the anthology is The Universal Flaws of Robotics, which is referencing the universal laws of robotics, which the first one is that robots cannot harm humans or allow them to come to harm. I think
it's almost like the robots themselves don't need the moral compass. It's more like certain corporations and people behind.
I think I often think a lot about the idea of a pure AI, one truly created in a vacuum that's truly objective and operating on its own, alien if pure set of morals. And I think that's a very curious thing to explore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, in addition, I want to say thank you to you both for another awesome story and another contribution to the anthologies that Canon, has been putting out. I can't wait to see what the next theme is. I don't know when Ben and Rainer are going to give us the details on that. I just know just from talking with you all tonight, I've gotten like there's things blooming, just ideas and just stuff like that. Not to mention a lot of cool stuff I need to check out and everything like that. So thank you so much for all those little gems that and I'm so glad to see this story come out of an art block and turn an about face into a genuine, authentic piece of art and artistry. Okay, so let's see. Ben has one last thing to say. Maybe after this one is funded, everyone buy a copy. Yeah. Okay. So first things first, everyone buy a copy, get that hardcover, get those stickers, check out this story, gifted programs from our,
buy early Christmas gifts for your kids or your nephew that you have no idea what to get him.
Buy the hardcover in case you've got a bookcase that's leaning and you need to put it underneath there. buy the 5 hardcovers, one for furniture, one for reading, one for
lending
out. Okay. Oh, and one for and 2 just because. Yeah. Oh, one for bragging. One for bragging.
Oh yeah, right. The one that you
the display model.
Yeah.
Put it on the coffee table. And that way everyone's like, oh, what's that? Say, yeah. That's. So, anyways, okay. I'm rambling. This is when it's time to wrap up.
You're good.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and we will see you soon in the next interview.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys want to hang out for a second, I'll end the stream. Oh, hold on. Kelsey says, would make an interesting Halloween present. Yes.
This book would be a very good Halloween
present. That would actually be really good.
Because I draw scary robots. I think this fits. Yep. Okay.
I do Halloween presents.
Okay.
I'm bad at birthdays, so you just get Halloween presents from me.
Yeah. So we can always a belated gift. Get 5 cover copies. You can do belated.
Yeah, 5 hard copies. You know.
Yeah.
There we go. Belated gifts. Okay. All right.
Makes it
Okay.
related, but it's a hardcover.
All right. Signing off.
Signing
All right.
off.
Take care.
Signing off.
Bye, everybody.
You guys can hang out if you